long life with, poor emotional health is probably a curse.
What rejuvenative practices do you find best? We 10, 12, 14 hours a week of sometimes punishing, sometimes sub-punishing workouts. And
yeah, usually sub-punishing, right? So call it 12 to 14 hours a week of exercise is very important for me. I do sauna 4 days a week. I try to do 4 days a week.
Session length?
Minimum 30, so 30 to 60.
At?
196 to 200. And by the way, that's doubly regenerative for me, or rejuvenative, depending on, because I never do that alone, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to do that with a friend. I'm going to do that with my wife.
Yep. And
it's always just an awesome time to be, like last night, my wife and I spent the whole time talking about, a session she had with her therapist and how much she learned. And it was just so wonderful to have kind
stacking multiple things on top.
It's just being able to do multiple things at once that are both really beneficial. I like rucking. That's something we didn't really talk about. I don't really lump that into my exercise bucket of time, though it is obviously a great type of exercise, but because of the way that I'm doing it, which is I'm not taking any electronics with me and I'm not multitasking when I do it, it really is just as much about my brain as it is my body. So rucking, of course, just for folks who don't know, it's basically walking around with a very heavy backpack. So, sweet spot is about a third of your body weight. So I'll go and do about 3.5 miles with as many hills as I can find, and I'm not taking anything. I'm not listening to podcasts or books or anything. I don't have my phone with me. So it's really just something that's unusual for me, because usually I'm either working, or if I'm exercising in the gym, I'm listening to music. If I'm on my bike,
there's always multiple stimulus going on.
Yeah, I'm listening to a podcast or something like that. But here, it's truly just observing thoughts.
Okay, yeah, cool. So sauna,
rucking, sauna, cold.
Yep.
You have a cold plunge. Love that as well.
What are you aiming to hit per week there?
Again, it depends. Probably also about 4 times a week. And again, that's something I like doing with my wife. Even though she's tiny, she can actually take the cold almost as much as I can. I have a lot more insulation than she does.
Worse for conversation than a sauna, perhaps.
Yeah, not as much. Usually the conversation there is how much longer.
Yeah. Okay.
And then truthfully, I think the most sort of rejuvenating practice is playing. Like I'm really lucky because my daughter doesn't like to play as much, but we still play. Like we play volleyball. She loves volleyball. So anytime I can be out on the court with her playing volleyball, I'm teaching her how to drive stick. So that's something that she loves doing. She'll be like, Dad, can we go and drive? And it's like, yep. Get in the pickup truck, go to the parking lot, and, making her start on steep hills and stuff like that is awesome. And my boys are 8 and 5. And so all they do is play. And so I get to play every single day.
You're down on the ground. You're probably in grass.
Playing Lego, jumping on a trampoline, goofing off. I like doing Lego myself. That's a super enjoyable thing for me to do. The interesting thing is the relationship between the age of an individual and when they start to pay attention to these things. And the younger you are, the greater your advantage in terms of the compounding benefit of the changes. So this is all about, daily practice, right? This is all about day in and day out adhering to these things. But the drawback of being young is that marginal decade is a very abstract concept.
Less motivating.
Yeah. So it's harder for you to stay focused on a goal that's so far away. Conversely, when you look at people in their 60s, they're already on the downslide. They watched their parents go through this. They've watched people live and die through horrible marginal decades. They have all the motivation in the world, if we want to use that word. They just have less room to alter the course if they're really far off. So I'll never know what the perfect time is to begin other than right now. The perfect time was yesterday. The next best time is today. But it's always interesting to observe that difference between the extremes of age.